and he will
Yes.
join within.
Yes.
A warm welcome and very good evening to all dear participants. Resource person of today's session, respected Dr. C.R. Yadav sir, and chairperson of today's session, respected Dr. J.S. Tomar sir. Now, I would like to introduce resource person of today's session, Dr. C.R. Yadav sir. Sir is currently serving as a Dean Research and Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Sharir Kriya at National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Sir has having the 15 years of PhD experience and 14 years of PG and PhD experience, and the editor of Journal of Ayurveda published from NIA Jaipur from March 2013 to continue. And editor of NIA newsletter 2009 to continue, and chairman of induction committee, chairman of short-term Ayurveda courses from foreign nationals, coordinator of interdepartmental seminar, and coordinator of Joint State Training Center of Rajasthan. Sir is headed the department since 2 July 2022 continue, and Sir is a member secretary and media coverage positive news committee 2009 to continue, and Sir has been awarded with various awards like letter of excellence on 30 June 2015, best thesis award in 2006, Ayur Medha award in 1998, Yogyata Pramanapatram 2000 and 1998, Vaid KL Mishra Chikitsa Samman 2019, 31st March 2019, and appreciation certificate in Chikitsa. Sir is member of various important committees like Board of Management of NIA, deemed to be University Jaipur, academic member of Academic Council of NIA, member of Board of Studies Fellowship Program, Post Graduation Program, Paramedics, Graduation of NIA, deemed to be University Jaipur, and the International Students Advisory Board, ISAB. And the research projects, the WHO research project standardization of non-clinical terminologies of Ayurveda, conceptual and comparative study of Ahara in Britannia. A research project is submitted to CCRS under EMR project entitled Comparative Study of Sasi Lekhavati and Udyadit Rasa along with Bakuchi Taila in the condition of Bharjikara Pitta Vikara Shitra Vitiligo. Now, I would request her to kindly lead today's session. Between that, Sir G.S. Tomar sir with us. Very good evening, sir. Sir, please unmute, sir, please. Sir, please unmute, sir.
ओके
हेलो, प्रणाम तोमर सर।
हाँ, नमस्कार आप सब लोगों को बहुत मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी
Yes,
जी
sir. Yes, sir. Very good evening. Sir is with us. Sir is currently serving as a CRA Guru at Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He is a former principal of Government Ayurvedic College, Handia, Prayagraj, and has been awarded Fellow of Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth by Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth. Sir is a member of Technical Working Group of Ayush NTEP Collaboration, Ministry of Home and Family Affairs, Government of India, and Executive Council Mahayogi Guru Gorakhnath Ayush University, Gorakhpur. Sir has been president of Atreya Institute of Teaching and Research Education in Yoga and Ayurveda. Sir has also served as a Dean Faculty of Ayurveda and Unani Medicine at CSJM University, Kanpur. With more than 42 years of clinical experience, Sir is constantly working in the service of humanity with a dedicated spirit. Professor Dr. G.S. Tomar sir, National President of Ayurveda Mission, National Executive Member of Arogya Bharati, and the Chairperson of Marcy Charak Research and Development Scheme, Institute of Applied Statistics, was honored with the Shiksha Shri Award, Pragya Gaur Award Samman, Kavya Pratiksha Samman, Dhanvantari Award, Excellence Award, and 20th Century Scholar Award from New York, USA for his remarkable work. Now, I would like to request her to kindly share some views and give us permission to start today's session. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Engineer Amit Tiwari ji, for introducing me like anything. I am simple Ayurvedic student, nothing more than that. ये सारी चीजें कुछ नहीं है, आपने बहुत महिमा मंडन किया, मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ, मैं सिंपली आयुर्वेद का विद्यार्थी हूँ। और मैं बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ अप्लाइड स्टैटिक्स के हमारे एडिशनल डायरेक्टर जो हमारे शुभम पांडे जी हैं, कि ये कार्यक्रम हम लोगों के प्रयास से, हम लोगों से आपने जो है ये आयुर्वेद के स्नातकों के लिए, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए तैयार कराया। और बहुत-बहुत आज का बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण विषय हमारे परम सहयोगी डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर CR यादव साहब, जो कि राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद संस्थान डीम्ड टू बी यूनिवर्सिटी में न केवल डीन रिसर्च के रूप में काम कर रहे हैं, एक ऐसे व्यक्तित्व के धनी हैं कि जिन्होंने अपने कार्यों से न केवल संस्थान को पर भारतवर्ष को अपने क्षेत्र में एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। और छात्रों को इस संदर्भ में आप जो है कॉन्सेप्ट्स, रिलेवेंस एंड जनरल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ बायोस्टैटिक्स एंड आयुर्वेद, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट माय डियर फ्रेंड्स। हमारा एक पैटर्न अलग था और उस पैटर्न में रिसर्च के कहाँ-कहाँ स्कोप हैं, तो हम विद्यार्थियों को ये चीज़ें शेयर करने के लिए आपने बहुत मेहनत किया है, आपने बहुत काम किया है, आपको मैं पहले भी सुन चुका हूँ। तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि अधिक समय न लेकर के आज काफ़ी लंबी यात्रा 2, 3, 4 कॉन्फ्रेंसेस वगैरह से हम अभी लौट करके आए हैं और मैं अधिक समय नहीं लूँगा। मैं चाहूँगा कि विद्यार्थियों को अधिक से अधिक इसका लाभ मिले और प्रोफेसर यादव जी आप लोगों को एनलाइटन करें उन कॉन्सेप्ट को लेकर के जहाँ रिसर्च की बहुत गुंजाइश है और उस रिसर्च में हम कहाँ हम एप्लीकेशन कर सकते हैं इन चीज़ों को, उसके बारे में आपको बताएं। बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद। आई रिक्वेस्ट प्रोफेसर CR यादव to present his views on concept, relevance and general applications of biostatistics in Ayurveda. प्रोफेसर CR यादव जी।
प्रणाम सर। ये अमित जी मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन उसमें है, विजिबल है?
जी सर,
विजिबल हो रहा है।
ओके
स्लाइड तो मोड में सर हो जाए तो थोड़ा सा बेटर आएगा।
यस सर, थैंक्स ए लॉट गुरुजी तोमर सर एंड अमित जी फॉर योर काइंड वर्ड्स। Actually, to share the platform with you, it's really honored to me. And we are the true follower of your vision and your approach or your attitude. So today I get an opportunity to share my view regarding the biostatics. Actually, for the physician, especially for the physician, it's never been a interesting subject to discuss or to read or to understand the statistics. It's always been very difficult to us, but today I get an opportunity to discuss on this. So the first question comes in our mind, that is, why should we medical professional learn about the statistics? Means why it is needed to being a researcher, and how it does help in the prepare or in the plan or in the execution of the research proposal. So it's been said that statistics can save our lives. By using the statistics, we can save the lives of the human beings, or not only one or two, but many lives we can save by this. As you all know that health data allows doctors to make the right diagnosis, decide on adequate therapies and prescribe the right medicines. When combined, analyzed and interpreted according to the international standards, our health data can also help to save others. I must thankful to the public health surveillance medical professionals can take targeted, more informed action to improve the public health document impact of their action and prevent the outbreaks of deadly disease. Means we can plan, or we can means get the information about the deadly disease who means suffered a lot to the humanity. Then the accurate public health data is particularly important when it comes to the maternal health. The day the birth can be a very dangerous time for moms and their babies. And also it is very deadly for the mothers also. According to the WHO, every year 303,000 mothers die during childbirth, and 26 million stillbirths occur, and 2.7 million babies die during their first 28 days of life. But if we come up with the fixed criteria, or means the prevalence of disease and the prevalence of the targeted area, then we can plan with the help of the statistics or by using this methodology, we can save the life of the human beings. That's why this subject is very much important for the medical professionals also. It is not about the research, but on the daily basis, statistics is the part of our life. Means we are not aware of that, but still we are using the statistics in our daily life. As it is said that statistics is one of the significant part of our daily life. From our daily expenses to the government policies, everything is based on the statistics. Means government is also planning the policies on the basis of the statistics. Means what kind of data or what type of data they are getting on the basis of the survey. According to them, they are planning the policy decisions. It is also play a role in the business. And apart from that, doctors also use statistics in their day-to-day lives. There are hundreds of usages of the statistics in our daily life. It means if we are going into the market and if we are planning to take, means how much quantity of the vegetables, how much quantity of the fruits I am to buy, that is also based on the statistics. Means we assess the need of our family, that means this is the quantity sufficient for our daily need or weekly need or our monthly needs. So statistics is means the very important factor in our daily life. It is also used in the natural disasters. It helps the government and the people to prepare for any emergency. Means if the area is very prone to natural disasters, then the people also, not only the government, but people also design or people also prepare themselves for the upcoming disasters. There is several uses of statistics in the sports also. A sportsman get an idea about his play and his performance of the other players. By using the statistics, a team can expect the performance of other team based on the expectations. A team can plan their practice session. Means still there is a test match is going on in between the India and Australia, and the Australian knows that the pitches of India are very spinner friendly. Then they include 4 spinners in their squad. But if they are going to visit South Africa, then it will not happen. They may include 1 or 2 spinners. So these kind of strategy are also based on the statistics. As I said that we can plan our home budget also, and this is very useful to take decision about our means the essential things which are being used in our home. And also we can predict the weather predictions, and it is very important in the education also. Means we can identify the fast learner, slow learner, and we can also plan the strategy for the slow learners. So statistics is everywhere. Then it comes, what is statistics? Actually, statistics is a scientific method of classification and tabulation, and or we can say scientific way of the presentation of data. Means what kind of information we are getting, we can produce or we can present that information in a very scientific manner. That comes under the statistics. This word is made up of Latin word status, that means political state. And there is a background, there is a story background of this. That means in the Egypt, there was a survey to know about the how much population of the Egypt is capable to pay payment of the tax. And that's why the status, the meaning of the status was learned or was known for the political state. So the application of the statistical methods in medicine, biology, and public health in planning or conducting and analyzing data which arise in the investigation is called as biostatics. Or we can also say it the science of collecting, classifying, presenting, and interpreting data relating to any sphere of inquiry. Means what kind of research question or what kind of our sphere of inquiry or means area of inquiry, then accordingly if we collect, classify or present and also interpret what kind of information we are getting, that is also comes under the part of the statistics. There are so many types of statistics: medical statistics, health statistics, and statistics in the medicine. So the application of the statistics in medicine means, as I said, that statistics is a science of numbers and it's used to measurement of both sick and healthy. It is not necessary that only we are predicting the disease and the means prevalence of the disease and the treatment for the diseased person, but it is also used for the measurement of the sick and healthy on the basis of so many different variables. Means in which kind, which region, which age, and which kind of the prakriti the person having. On the basis of that, we can get some information in the number and then we produce that in the scientific manner. So all science in the measurement and all true measurement is essentially comparative. How statistics help in research? Means earlier I said that statistics is everywhere, means in our daily life, in our routine, or in the government policies, in business also. We can predict that what kind of business is means going to boost that kind of the area in the particular field. So means nowadays startup is a means a very good area where, so all these things are based on the information and the means data we are collecting from the market. So but how it does help in the research? So by the help of the statistics, we can plan or design the research in a proper manner, because to measure the burden of the illness in the community through various incidents, and we are also able to collect data in the best way possible. And we also decide that whether from entire population, means we are getting the data from the census type of the study, or from the representative group, means a sample study. Means if we are targeting the whole population, then it comes under the entire population. And if we are targeting only the maternal health, only the child, baby, only the disabled person, then this is comes under the representative group, means we are taking a sample study. And what is the sample size required and which sample technique to be employed. So we can get these kind of ideas. So it is it may be very easy to plan or design the research proposal in a proper manner. And it is the guiding principle for planning, organizing, designing, executing, and the conducting of the surveys, and also used for the proper condensation and the presentation of the data. So these are the usage of the statistics. Means if we are going to use means the blood sugar, so we can target the healthy person, means, and also we can plan with what kind of diet they are taking. So on the basis of that, means on the basis of the diet, we can decide that this diet is means beneficial in the patient of the diabetes mellitus. So that kind of estimations also can be done by the help of the statistics. And also estimate needs the efficiency, sufficiency, and accuracy only through the application of the statistical methods. And as we know that the efficiency means an estimator is said to be efficient if in the class of unbiased estimator it has minimum variations. Clearly is the more efficient since it has the similar variance. In statistics, efficiency is a measure of quantity of an estimator, of an experimental design, or of a hypothesis testing procedure, but the sufficiency, we can say that estimator is sufficient if it is uses all the sample information, while the efficiency strategies seek to boost productivity from the raw material. The sufficiency strategy target changes in the consumption behavior. So by using the estimate, we are supposed to take the efficiency, sufficiency, and accuracy. Variability is the hallmark of the every data, especially in medicine and the public health, and it makes health delivery system most cumbersome. Comparison at group level or community level extremely difficult. So variations, physiological, biochemical, or immune related, can be dealt only through the statistical techniques. So what are the advantages of the biostatistics? We can reduce the time and we can get the accurate data. There is a validity, means without the help of the biostatistics, we are not able to validate any concept or any findings. Lower the chances of error, and it is also prevents the duplication of the data, and it facilitates analysis and improve the document management system. Means if we are using the proper concept of the biostatistics, then we can able to manage the proper document management. Now, statistics in Ayurveda. So again, I must say that there are a lot of examples and lot of references are available in our science. By that we can say that there was a advanced use of the statistics in the Ayurveda science. And in Ayurveda, observing the nature, behavior of animal, similarities in features. Means if we are going to understand about the prakriti of an individual, then you may know that there are example of so many animals that you can, if you want to understand that the prakriti of a particular person, then if the nature of the person is just similar to the behavior or nature of that particular animal. So these kind of the observation, that also comes under the statistics. Observation, data collection, and confirming their health benefits are the evidence. So the statistics was part as a tool to develop this Ayurveda science also. The mentioning of the term Sankhya and Man, means Sankhya and Man in the literature of Ayurveda indicates the importance given to the number and the measurements. Means how or up to the what extent Ayurveda is also giving the importance to the number and the measurements. So statistics is the science of collecting and analyzing sufficient numerical data that deals with the numbers. In this regards, all the Brihattari, means Charak, Susruta, and Bhagavad, or especially in Charak Samhita, numerical values for a particular data, namely like Mahabhut, Dos, Dhatu, Upakaram, Rogmar, means they are always means related, or they are always notified with the fixed number. So these kind of references showing that Ayurveda is also giving the importance to the statistics. Also, it was used in the data collection. If we go through the Sambhasa Parishad, then there is a Rogi and Roga Pariksha. We also get the information from the Vanvasi. So on the basis of that information, again we prepared a document, and on that findings we produce any concepts. So a set of values recorded on one or more observational unit, that is called data, if we are using that in the collective recording of the information either numerically or in any form, like Sambhasa Parishad of Ras. The two types of data, qualitative and the quantitative. What is the qualitative data? Means they are just talking about the attribute, as it is the attributed to some qualities. Guno with the specific quality, Brangane Guru and Langane Laghu. So that kind of information or that kind of the data comes under the qualitative data. The second data is the quantitative data. We can get the quantitative data by measurement and the counting. Means number of yog in the Kalpana Sthan, where the Vamaniya Dravya and the Kalpana related with the Vaman Karm, like 133 in the Madan Phal and 39 Kalpana are mentioned in the Jimutak Adhyay. And also the chapters of the particular Sthan, like Sutra Sthan, Chikitsa Sthan, Nidan Sthan. So that kind of number that comes under the quantitative data. And it is also mentioned in the various Mahakasai like Jivaniye, Branganiye and Mutra Viranjaniye, Trishna Nigrahaniye, where the drugs with the similar action are grouped together and the classification of the Prakriti based on those like Vataj, Pittaj and Kafaj. So on the basis of that kind of information, we can divide the collected data into two. One is quantitative and the second one is qualitative data. Now, the presentation of data and the systemic representation of data comes under the presentation. That may be mainly three ways: textual, tabulation and the graphical presentations. The data was gathered and presented in a typical method in those periods. There are some examples that presentation of the Samhita in various adhyay, like Sutra, Nidan, Viman, Sarir. That is also part of the presentation of data. And the numbering of each slok and giving the adhyay number emphasize on the systemic representation of the data. Means there are a fixed number of slok in every adhyay. So that also the way of the presentation of data. Example of the way of the presentation of data in our Ayurveda. Now the analysis of the data. And what is analysis? The method of transforming and the remodulation of the data. And again, there are some examples. If we go through the commentaries written by the various Acharya or the Samhita, that can be considered in the analysis of the data. Like slok written by Agnivesh and Charak Samhita is clearly analyzed by the Chakra Panitat, and any indirect or hidden and contextual meaning, if present, it is also comes under the analysis of data. Means if we are if I want to give the example of Hriday, then in the means different context there is a different meaning of Hriday also. Same happens with the Man also. So that kind of means analysis that comes under the analysis or the transforming and the remodulation of the data. Now the interpretation of the data means the process of approaching towards the conclusion regarding the analyzed data. That comes under interpretation. As we all know that in Atre Bhadrakapi Adhyay of Charik Samhita regarding the types of ras, there were different opinions. Finally, considering all the information and discussion, Acharya concludes that ras of 6 types. Means there are so many versions and so many means idea about the number of the rasa, but after the considering all the information and after that after the proper discussion, it was concluded that ras is of the 6 type, and each and every chapter of the Samhita ends with the Bhavanti Chatra, that followed by few verses which will be the intent upon the conclusion of the particular chapter. Means if we are seeing or if we are going through this information that Bhavanti Chatra, then we can understand that now we are at the part of the conclusion of this particular chapter. Mean we can say simply the average comes under the mean, and there is so many examples, but I am giving one example here, that in a strong hriday, one bindu is considered as average quantity of fluid that drops down when an individual lifts the pradeshini anguli, which dipped in the fluid. Means if we dipped our index finger in the fluid, then the quantity of fluid we are getting, it is said that it should be measured by the individual subject, but on the basis of the data which comes from the so many subjects, then it was taken as a mean. Second one is the central value or the mid value of any observation, that is also known as the median, or we can say that the 50th percentile comes under the median. Uttam, Madhyam and Heen categories in the concept of Sar, Sanganan and Bal, that also example of the median. All of these three components mean Uttam, Madhyam and Heen. Medium means the Madhyam Bal and Madhyam Sar, which gives idea between the pravar and avar. Means Madhyam means the values in between the Uttam and the Heen. So we can not compare, or we cannot put this information into the mean, but we can put this information into the median. Then the mode means which occurs in the maximum number of time in the given set of data. The most frequently occurring or common or usual, that is also comes under the mode. Means among Vat, Pitta and Kapha Prakriti, the incidence of Vatic disease more in Vata Prakriti individuals. Means as we all know that the type of disease are two types, Nanatmaj and Samanyas. So if we are having Vata, Pitta and Kapha Prakriti subjects with us, then the incidence of Vatic disorder or incidence of Pathic disorder will be more in the Vatic Prakriti and the Pathic Prakriti respectively. Means if the subject is having the Pittas Prakriti, then the prevalence of the Pithic Vikar will be more in the Pittas Prakriti. And same in the context of this, it is mentioned that Jangalam Vata Bhuishtam, means Jangal Desh people commonly suffer with the Vatic disorder. It doesn't mean that Anup Desh and Sadharan Desh will not suffer with the Vatic disorder, but the prevalence or the common factor is related with the Jangal Desh, that they are Vata Bhuishtam. So they may suffer more from the Vatic disorder in comparison to the Sadharan or Anup Desh. Now the population and the sample size. Population is the collection of all the items, and the sample is the collection of the one part of the population, as we discussed at the means entire census that comes under the population. If we are taking about a fixed population or a fixed category, then it comes under the sample. Population and sample can be understood on the basis of the Lok Purush Siddhant. Means Lok Purush Siddhant. So Lok is entire world or population. Means we are collecting all the items in the Lok, and in the Purush, that the collection of the part of the population. Means in the entire world there are a lot of entities are being residing, but if we are focusing on the Purusha only, then the Purush comes under the sample. So the population and the sample concept can be understood with the help of the Loka Purush Siddhant. Then the measures of the variability. Variability is called as the measure of dispersion. It describes about the spread of the scatteredness of individual observations. Variance between the groups and the variance within the group, that comes under the variability. And Ayurveda also advocates the principle of Purusham Purusham Vikshe. And in Swans, involvement of three dosas, role of Kapha among three dosas, and involvement of the Kleda Kapha, that comes under the concept of the variance between the groups and the variance within the groups. In the statistics, the measures of the dispersion help to interpret the variability of the data to know how much homogeneous and heterogeneous the data is. That's why the variance in between the groups and the variance within the groups can be taken as the measure of the variability. Testing of hypothesis. Statistics is used to decide whether to accept or reject the hypothesis. And hypothesis is nothing but is any tentative prediction that comes under the pratigya. In any Sambhasa Parishad, the hypothesis regarding the Sambhasa Adhikaran is stated, means the topic name. And if I want to give the example, then in deciding the ras, all the Acharya kept their view regarding the ras only. So that is, the ras is the hypothesis in that particular Sambhasa. Normal distribution. Distribution in which mean, median and mode coincides. Means all the three aspects about the mean, median and mode, then it comes under the normal distribution. We can see in the Swastha Lakshan where Samados, Samagni and Samadhatu means not only those, but we are also including the Agni and the Dhatu in this. So this type of classification or this type of the distribution or this type of presentation comes under the normal distribution. Probability. Probability is the thought process about the unknown diseases, drug and the treatment modality. So by that we can able to the statement that the indicative of the probability can be made. Means if we are collecting the data from our past experience or from any survey study or from any institute, then we can able to predict that probability about that the particular information. And the quote saying that bheta hi bhedyam anyatha bhinnati and tasya vikalpatvat aparisankheyani bhavanti vikalpa bhedatvat parisankheyatvam are the indicative of the statisticals through the thought process. Means by understanding these words, these concept is also comes under the concept of the probability. Correlation. Correlation means the strength of association between the two variables. If we are means seeing or if we are deciding or we are establishing the strength of the association between two variables, then this concept comes under the correlation. Then the correlation can be the positive and the negative. And the example of the positive correlation is one variable changes or increases by 1 unit, the other variable also changes or increases by the same unit. Means Vad dos increases by the Vyayam. This example is related with the Vihar, but we can also plan the example related with the Ahar also, that Yav means Vad dos increases by the Yav also, by the using or Yav. So this is the positive correlation. But if we are going through the example of the negative correlation, then if one variable changes or decreases by 1 unit, then the another variable also changes or increases by the same unit. For example, that kaf dos decreases by the Vyayam. Means if we are not going for, means if we are not adopting the concept of Vyayam, then the kaf dos means can be increases. But if we are means adopting the concept of Vyayam in our daily life, then there is a possibility in the decreases of the kaf dos. So that kind of the correlation comes under the negative correlation. Regression. Regression means if we know the X, then Y can be predicted. Means if we are knowing or if we are able to know one factor of any variables, then the second can be predicted. And this can be happen through the concept of the regression. In two variables, if one variable is known, the other can be predicted. In any Vyadhi, if Purva Roop is known, then one can predict the severity of the Pratyatma Lakshan. Means if we know the Purva Roop of any Vyadhi, and then what kind of the severity of the Purva Roop in that particular subject, then we can plan the Pratyatma Lakshana of the particular Vyadhi. Or in the same way, the prognosis will also be difficult. Means if the number of symptoms or number of Purva present in the subject, on the basis of that, we can also predict the prognosis of the particular subject. And the categorization in the Vikrati Pariksha, Sukh Sadhya, Krcha Sadhya, Yapya and Pratyakhe, that is also the part of the regression. Means if the Hetu, those, they are tullable and the Dusya is Gambhir Dhatu, then the prediction and the prognosis may be difficult. So this can be, this kind of information or this kind of concept, they comes under the concept of the regression. Means we are knowing the one factor that at what extent the severity of the roop is present in the subject, then we can able to find or we can able to predict the second aspect, that is prognosis. And it is also said that in statistics everything is measurable, and a Ayurvedic physician must be well versed with the method of the measurement of all the variables like those drug strength, diet, that to be able to treat the diseases successfully. And it can be qualitative and the quantitative, and the combination of the both. Means it can be qualitative and quantitative, that both concepts can also be included in the third one. So the principle of the mathematics and statistics, and by using that statistics and principle of the mathematics, we can measure everything. And if we are going, if I want to give an example, then quantity of the urine passed by a person in 24 hours is measured using by the unit in liters, which is what is the color, clarity, smell are compared to the standards and noted. Means there is a standard information. By using that, we can also analyze the physical and the chemical property of any investigation. Then there are Panchavaya Vakya, Pratigya, means roughly we can say a hypothesis may comes under the concept of Pratigya. Hetu means the objectives of the study. Udharan, observation and the analysis. Upanay means discussion. And Nigman, the conclusion. Means these are the Panchavaya Vakya which are being used in the Ayurvedic research, and that can be correlated in the modern system of research also. There are different fields in the statistics and its application and relevance in Ayurveda. So means not only merely we are focusing on the health status, but we are also concerned with the environmental statistics. That is the utility of statistical methods in the environmental science, and applied in the knowledge of the climate, air and water quality are also included. There are so many information, so many references are available in our text. By using that, we have the very good knowledge about the quality of our climate, air and the water, and also encompasses soil sciences, vegetation, agriculture and the land use. And it is also classically, there are so many classically evidence of environmental factor or environmental statistics can be related in the following explanation, like Trivid Drabya or Trivid Bhesaj or Trivid Desh. And in Susrut also even the qualities of the soil are being mentioned, which show the relevance of awareness about the knowledge. So we are contributing not only in the physical health, but we are also contributing in the environmental science also by the using of the environmental statistics. Epidemiology. Epidemiology is the study of the factors affecting the health and the illness of the population, and serves as the foundation and the logic of the interventions made in the interest of the public health and the preventive medicine. And this concept of Janpadodvans means the concept of the Janpadodvans, where Acharya highlights Vayu, Udaka, Desh and Kal as the factor affecting people in the large number. Even the lakshan of the visheshan of each factor are explained. Means the lakshan of the particular vayu, udak, desha, kala and visheshan of these four, that particularly explained along with the measures to prevent the diseases and their treatments. The next component is health statistics. Health statistics covers the entire gamut of the health science, applied mainly in the concept of the curative, promotive and preventive sciences. And the detailed explanation of Dinacharya and Ritucharya, where impact of different Ritu on every individual and its prevention method to be adopted by the individual or by the mass are explained. Means there is a set type of protocol, that means at what time you are supposed to awake and what kind of the routine you are supposed to follow for the whole day or for the whole season. Not only for the whole day and the whole season, but Ratricharya is also mentioned in our text. So that part comes under the health statistics. Rasayan concept is also explained in the classics, can be considered for this concept. And the Vajikaran as a science developed for the Supraja, having a child without any diseases may be preventing possible genetic disorders. That can also be the part of the health statistics. Medical statistics. Utility in the medical field or medicine, applied mainly to known about the drug therapy disease pattern in the particular disease. Means what kind of the drug we are using and what kind of the therapy we are planning for the particular disease, and also the pattern of the disease. It is included in the medical statistics. If we are going through the classically references, then the concept of Trisutra, Nidana Panchak, Ashtavidh and Dasvidha Peksha, that comes under the medical statistics. Means we are using the means appropriate pattern about the analysis and about the means the procedures and the techniques for the diagnosis purpose. That also comes under the medical statistics. So based on these, the diagnosis is done and the various Chikitsa Siddhant or Chikitsa Sutra and Chikitsa modalities and the suitable Osadi are developed. Means if we are analyzing any particular disease with the help of the disease pattern, with the help of the therapy, with the help of the proper diagnostic techniques, then only we can able to plan the Chikitsa Siddhant or Chikitsa Sutra. And also we can help the so many different treatment modalities and suitable Osadi for the particular disease. Application of statistics in the diagnosis. So there are two types of diagnosis, Rogi Bal Praman and Rog Bal Praman. So we also use the statistics in the Rogi Bal Praman Gyanarth and the Rog Bal Gyan Praman. In the Rogi Bal Praman Gyanarth, there is a provision for counting the number of positive characters concerned to the respective features and observing the percentage of these to decide Pravarta, Madhyama and Avarabalata of the Prakriti Sar. So by using that Pravarta, Madhyamata and Avarta, we can able to know the Rogi Bal Praman. And in the Rog Bal Praman, the number of Nidan and the number of Purva Roop and the number of Roop, on the basis of that, we can assess the Rog Bal Praman. And also the assessment of the Samyak Lakshana of Dosa Dhatu and Mal before and after treatment, that comes also under the statistics in the diagnosis. On the basis of this, Chikitsa Siddhant and Chikitsa Sutra can be performed. Next, the vital statistics. Vital statistics refers to data that gives information regarding the vital events or events that mark life, like birth, date and migration, mentioning the Kal and Akala Mrityu. In the chapter Janpadodhans, Viman, number of people exposed to the diseases and number of people falling ill is also mentioned. Means how many people, you may also see in the incidents of Corona that so many or almost all the world were exposed for the disease, but there are certain number of people they fall in that particular exposure. So that can also be the part of the vital statistics. And after verifying the events following are named as 10 pranayatan, 3 marm sthan and arist lakshan. These type of concept also comes under the vital statistics. Now the third segment of our today's discussion, that the relevance and the scope of application in the statistics, mainly in the Ayurveda research field. So there are type of research means literary, clinical, pharmacological, observational and survey study. So how in these kind of different research fields, what kind of the relevance and the scope of application of statistics is present in Ayurveda? Now we will going to discuss on that. First one, the literary research. And what is literary research? Literary research is nothing but to study, evaluate and interpret literature. For example, for a disease, all the lakshan can be collected from various samhita and can be listed and compared to see which sign and symptoms are mentioned by all the acharya. Means first of all, we collect all the information regarding not only for the lakshan, but we can also collect the purva roop, and we can also collect the nidan of that particular disease, and we can analyze that the common symptoms and the common findings and the common interpretations are like this. Means these kind of roop are written or mentioned by all the acharya, and if that kind of information we are getting from that particular observation, then we can say these are the cardinal symptoms, or these are the main symptoms of that particular disease or that particular health problem. So by helping or by knowing that, we can help in the diagnosis of the specific disease. That it is said that the frontal headache is the cardinal symptom of the typhoid fever. So like that, we can also plan so many cardinal symptoms on the basis of literary research or these kind of the research proposals. The second one is the clinical research. There are plenty of evidence where comparative efficacy of the various Chikitsa modalities and medicines are mentioned. Means not only the medicine, but we can also compare the different treatment modalities. That comes under the clinical research. For example, Mustadi Yapna is Sadhya Jwarnasini, and the efficacy of Arand in Ambat and the role of Basti in Vatarakt. So we can compare the role of Basti and the efficacy of Arand in the different health problems, which are just similar to each other. So that kind of research we can plan, and we can get some important information, and that can be very useful to establish the new treatment modalities and the new treatment principle for that particular disease. Considering the scope in the research, all above information can be applied involving the human volunteers. Pharmacological research. Pharmacological research, in our classics mentioning of the Agre Osadi, means there are, means I think in the chapter of 26, there is a information regarding the Agre Dravya. Means there is the means literature available, which is showing the supreme utility in the particular means health problem or means healthy status also. Means Bakuchi Sivitra Ghanana. Means Bakuchi is the most beneficial while treating the vitiligo. So the information of that kind can be used in the pharmacological research. And there is a wide scope of the study of the drug action. Means we can go through what kind of a rasa guna virya vipak of that particular drug, and how it does break down the pathogenesis of that particular health problem, and what changes either biochemical or physiological effect on the cell, tissue, organ and the organism, which in terms the show action of the specific disease can be researched. Means this drug basically work on the cell, this is working on the tissue, this is working on the organ. So we can also specify in terms of the pharmacodynamics and the pharmacokinetics of the drug. And then the common application of the biostatics in the Ayurveda. We can collect, tabulate, summarize, test, and we are also able to present the data. We can differentiate between the and explain the content of the qualitative and the quantitative data. Means we are able to differentiate the content of the qualitative and the quantitative. We are also able to formulate, and also we can test our hypothesis. We are able to study the relation, association, and the causation of the factors in the Ayurvedic parlance, and also drive conclusions that are acceptable to the scientific community to provide supportive evidence for the implementing public healthcare programs. First, to collect, tabulate, and summarize the test and the present data. Means collection of the data pertaining to the health status. Means we can target means specific area, we can target a specific category. So on the basis of that information, also we can adopt a village or we can adopt a society, and by that process we can collect some data about the health status, then symptoms and signs and results of the various examination which may be done on that particular target population or target area. Then data collected in the form of lakshan as Purva Roop, Upadrava, as Sadhya Lakshan or Arisht Lakshan. Then in the form of the tabulation, summarization, testing, and reporting in the statistical terms to be done in the every research process. So we can means get or we can achieve this kind of the presentation by the help of the biostatistics. Differentiate between and explain the content of the qualitative and the quantitative data. Means before going to the analytical part of the data, one should be able to differentiate the type of data. Means is this is qualitative or is this is quantitative. If quantitative data is converted into the qualitative data without following the statistical rules, may ruin the study and understanding of the subjects. Means if the qualitative data is needed for the research project and we are using the quantitative data for the assessment of that particular research project, then it may ruin or it may means disturb all the research protocol or all of means whole of our project, because quantitative data is the number based that can be countable or measurable. Quantitative data is interpreted based descriptive and relating to the language, while the quantitative data tells us how many, how much, or how often in the calculation. And qualitative data can help us to understand why, how, and what happened behind the certain behavior. That means we can't get with the help of the qualitative data. So this is the importance of each kind of the data, qualitative or quantitative. So if we are using the appropriate data in the appropriate research proposal, then that can be helpful for the mankind and ourselves. To formulate and the test the hypothesis. Means to test the hypothesis is the core of the statistical part of any research. So the conversion of the research hypothesis to the statistical hypothesis, which is two types, null and alternative, and testing with them data is needed. If we are going for an example, then the Kanthgat row and Kavalgraha and Pratisarani have the equal potency. Means in Kanthgat row, our hypothesis is that Kavalgraha and Pratisarani have the equal potency. Then we plan a null and the alternative hypothesis, and by obtaining the data after our study, then we can reject or we can test our hypothesis. So we are able to formulate and test the hypothesis on the basis of the biostatistics. To study the relation, association, and causation of the factors in the Ayurvedic parlance. means to be done with the help of the concept of statistical testing in descriptive and analytical studies, and also help to understand the study designs and its connection with the statistical measures. That is also the important part of to study the relation, association and causation factor. If we are going to correlate between two factors, then it can be considered as a descriptive study. And if we are going to find the association between, then it comes under the case control study. That will not comes under the descriptive, but that can be considered as the case control study. And if we are going to see the causal effect relationship, then it comes under the cohort study. So by using the statistics, this is the also the very useful part that to study the relation and association to drive conclusion that are acceptable to the scientific community. Means if we are not able to drive that kind of conclusion that are acceptable to the scientific community, then there is no use of that particular exercise. So standardization is the main important validation, and standardization is the main important factor while driving the fixed conclusion or means valid conclusions. So standardization of Ayurvedic treatment with the statistics can be the important tool, and standardization of the time period required for the application of a particular lab in a disease condition on the basis of the statistical results obtained from the research. So if we are having a sufficient number according to the requirement of the statistics, then we can able to standardize the concept of science. To provide supportive evidence for the implementing public health care programs, means with the concept of regression, we can achieve this goal with the help of the concept of the regression. Because by the using regression, we helps in the prediction of the number of cases in the next year if we are having data on the number of cases in the particular disease in the last few years. Means I must give an example here that if we are having the data that's showing that in the month of March, April, there is a prevalence of the swine flu in that particular area. And if we are having the valid data of last few years, 4 to 5 years, then we can predict that in the coming year, in the month of April and May, or month of April, March and April, we should aware about the swine flu. So that also can be gate, and we are able to plan some public health program by using that. Also, we can help out, we can target the population, and we can also plan some budget sanction for that. And we are also able to setting some preventive program that particular area and that particular population. But there are some major challenges, where the Western medicine is a structural and reductionist. In Ayurveda, it is functional and inclusive. And in Western medicine, the action of the drug and action of the modalities seen at the cellular level or molecular level can be analyzed on the cellular and molecular level. But in the Ayurveda, it is adaptive mechanism for the system that is including the health and diseases. Regarding the Western medicine and the mono model can that is accepted in the Western medicine, while in Ayurveda there is multimodal techniques is being used, and we are focusing on the multiple molecules and the multiple targets, where in the modern medicine they are using the single molecule and the single targets. So these are the major challenges while using the statistical concept in comparison to the modern medicine, especially in our Ayurvedic sciences. Thank you so much for providing me this platform to sharing my views about the use of the statistics, especially in the relation of the Ayurvedic sciences. Thank you so much. Amit ji, now it's over to
you. Thank you very much, sir, for describing all the concepts in a single session. I hope that all participants get revised the last all sessions delivered in the field of statics and biostatics. You covered all topics in a very short time of period. Now, without wasting so much time, I request to all participants that if there is any query, then I have written a mail ID in the chat box due to shortage of time. Please send us your queries on the mail with the subject line of the guest speaker or the topic name, so I can provide the accurate answer to all the participants. And now, I would like to request Dr. G.S. Tomar sir, kindly share some views and kindly sum up today's session. Am I audible, sir? Okay, sir. Okay. Sorry for inconvenience. Sir is actually busy in another meeting right now. He's delivering another session with some other participants. So he wishes all the best for next lectures and very positive feedback for today's session. Now, I hearty thanks our respected resource person of the session, Dr. C.R. Yadav sir, for delivering a lecture in a very briefly and all covering all topics of the biostatic statics and how to use them, how to use statics and biostatics in the field of Ayurveda. We again thanks to all the participants for joining in today's session. Now, tomorrow we have another session on the collection, classification, and types of data will be delivered by Dr. C.B. Tripathi sir. And this is the end of today's session. We again thanks to our respected chairperson, respected resource person of the session, Dr. C.R. Yadav sir, and all participants and dignitaries joined in today's session. Thank you very much. This is the end of today's session.